Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to talk about the biggest lesson I learned after moving all the way across the country from New Jersey to Idaho. Tune in to learn more about this experience. Hi, my name is Stephen Joseph, and I'm the president and founder of EvoStream Communications. A few months ago, I posted a shot of my kids in the Sawtooth Mountains out in Stanley, Idaho. And in that post, I kind of reflected on the experience I've had moving all the way from New Jersey to Idaho. And I got a lot of feedback and a lot of questions from folks who were considering similar moves. And I wanted to share today a very particular part of my story that I think lends itself to anyone looking for advice before they embark on a major change in their life. So, of all the things that I've learned and the great experiences that I've had in moving my family from New Jersey to Idaho, one of the stories that I want to share that I think really captures the key to this involves me selecting a gym and how I arrived at the idea that environment is the number one factor that you need to consider when you're making a major life change. So first and foremost, this experience is also backed by a lot of research. There's a gentleman named Dan Buettner who is famous for his research of the blue zones. So these are areas where there's the highest concentration of centenarians, or people that live over 100. And what he aims to do is sort of understand, is it the diet, the lifestyle? What is it about these communities that allows certain people to live for so long? And one of the things he's arrived at is that overall, quality of life is impacted by and large by your environment. And making a change in your environment is the number one decision you can make to support whatever your endeavors are in order to cultivate the change that you're looking for. So here's the lesson that I learned in a short story about my experience. When I first moved here, I immediately was looking for a gym. I wanted to go find a place where I could work out. And of course, I looked at the same old places that I was used to exploring in New Jersey. I used to go to a Crunch Fitness. I went to a Gold's Gym at one point. These are franchises everyone's familiar with, and I immediately looked for one locally. And what I found is, of course, there's a Gold's Gym. Just like there's a Gold's Gym, there's a Crunch, and just like New York, you can find great pizza in Idaho. There are always going to be things that are familiar. But what I soon learned is that if you create all of the same habits and routines in this new state, new environment, you're eventually not going to put yourself in the position you originally desired, which was to ultimately change that environment. So after, a few weeks at this gym, I looked around and I said, the clientele, the people that are here, they look a lot like the people that I worked out around in New Jersey. I can't even believe I'm in Idaho right now. And I felt very comfortable. But what I soon realized is that comfort and that familiarity was actually working against my original desired changes that I wanted for my family here in this new environment. So somebody said, hey, you got to join the YMCA. I said, the YMCA aren't the YMCAs for, swim lessons. And I thought they were like hostels when I lived back in New York that people, might have used part-time to find a place to stay. And I said, no, the YMCA's here are world-class facilities, and I checked one out and I couldn't believe it. The YMCA's in this area are unbelievable. And not only are they world-class facilities as far as, the pools and the gyms and everything they have, from basketball courts to climbing walls, but they're world-class in the sense of community. The YMCA's here are a huge part of the community. And when I joined, I looked around and I find myself in a totally different environment than I was in at a Gold's Gym or, say a Crunch. Not that those are bad gyms at all, but now you had many families, many different people from different walks of life that were in the YMCA's. So many of them are volunteers, and a lot of the activities that are at the YMCA aren't just about working out. You do have your turkey trots, and you have your camps in the summer, you have swim lessons, you have all different things you can do with your family. And we've really adopted that lifestyle with the YMCA since. So here's the lesson here is, a lot of people asked me after I posted a few months ago about this move, what advice I had for them. And the first thing that comes to mind is that you may be able to change your environment without changing the state you live in or the home you live in. A simple example is a gentleman asked me about a career change, and he had mentioned that since COVID, he'd been working from home a lot. And I said, wait, before you change careers, have you considered going back into the office if it's open? Maybe you actually just miss the camaraderie of being around your peers, going to lunch every day. Maybe you like to commute and it's actually good for you. So the advice that I give people is, of course, when you're making a change, you have to look for an environment with the resources and the community that's going to be in line with goals that you have in mind for you and your family. But it's not always necessary to take that big step first. You first need to look in your immediate environment and see, are there things I can do to actually cultivate and create the desired outcomes that I have without making such a drastic move? Now, of course, if you find that to be really difficult, you're going to realize you are in an area where you're kind of swimming upstream. And what I can say about our move is that we're in an area now where it's actually easy to find these places. The resources are abundant, and it just makes it very natural to be part of the community, and it supports the type of lifestyle that we're looking for. But that is not to say that you can't find the same quality of life in whatever circumstance you're in. So again, try to make sure you cultivate the environment that supports your goals, and if necessary, make changes. If it's a drastic move, of course, you don't want to fall back into the same habits that were in your old environment, because naturally, when you make a big change, you look for things that are familiar. So hopefully that's some good insight into our experience, and anyone that's looking into making a major change, hopefully that's helpful for you as well. Thanks again, and please share your feedback in the comments of the post. Feel free to direct message me. I always make an effort to get back to you, and I appreciate everyone tuning in. Have a great day.